my goat never
Back in
loses.
2011, Angry Birds was everywhere. They had multiple different games, toys, and
Angry
movies,
Birds
generating hundreds of millions of
I
dollars.
didn't play
But by
anything past the one with the
2019,
dirt.
they were firing masses of staff, and since then things have only gotten worse. Perhaps it's just karma for stealing the initial idea. Angry Birds wasn't an original concept. In April 2009, a game was released named Crush the Castle, which required players to fire a trebuchet into wooden structure hiding medieval people.
Classic.
Well, 8 months later, in December 2009, game developer...
Chat, I swear, chat, I'm not baiting, chat. I swear I'm not baiting. Why do people go after companies for firing employees? I swear, I don't.
Because they're afraid.
Understand.
No, because they know that they are a part of the bottom 10%, and
like
they want to
downsizing.
they want to put the
the
rules in
audience
place
isn't
so
here,
they get
COVID was
protected,
there,
even though they're
like,
bottom
and they're
10%.
downsizing,
They don't want to do
right?
better.
It's
They
just-
want you
it's
to
a
pamper
symptom
them,
of the
right?
market.
Because they know that
What
they
are they
don't
supposed to
provide
do?
what
To
the others
just-
do. They know
just
they're
go
inferior.
bankrupt
They
to keep
know
them-
they
keep-
they
to keep
don't
them
deserve
afloat?
it.
Chat, you
That's
wouldn't even
why
do
they
this to your own
can
company.
afford it.
If you own a company, you would literally not even do this for your own employees.
They know they're worse and they know they're inferior. So what they do is they try to make it all about us, right? It's all about us. We're the ones that are the victims to this, right?
If you
No, you're
open,
not.
okay, chat.
They are the
David,
victims. You're the one
open
who
a
caused
bank with your dad.
this
Okay.
incompetence.
Summer
Right?
comes
You're the
around.
cause.
Okay, you have so many customers.
You're
you
not
and
the
your dad,
victim.
you cannot sell all the bread.
Yep.
Okay, you have to get Teresa. Teresa is
I'm
now
right. I'm
at the
right.
cashier while you package the fucking bread at the back. All good. Okay. Now there's all three of you guys, right? Summer's ended, right? People don't buy as much bread. I don't know why in my world, this market, whatever. Then, not only do you have enough time to do the bread and the cashier, you have enough time to even do the mop and the wash. Now you can do 3 titles at Senate by yourself. So like, well, if I can do 3 titles, I could just do 2. We might have to just fire Teresa. Hey Teresa, yo, I gotta be honest with you. Like, your position is no longer needed because it's been 2 months. And I can do all this shit, and we don't really need you anymore. Sorry, Teresa, you fired, right? No. Chat, in the current world, you're not allowed to fire anybody because chat's gonna get mad at you for doing layoffs. Instead, tank the company, tank it hard. Now you can afford most of your shit because now you're in debt. Whatever, fuck it. They got loans, and it's just to keep them afloat. You don't know if the markets are gonna recover. Maybe next. Just keep tanking it. This is not a thing that you or your dad would ever do. Let's be honest. There's not a singular world where you would go into debt, right? And you would take a higher risk than whatever, and then fucking just to keep them afloat. If you say that, I don't believe you're just lying to yourself. No shot.
No.
Now,
What you need to do is
explain how when corporates
look
do
at your
it,
company.
it's evil.
Look at the bottom 10%, the bottom 25%, and fire them.
It's the same concept, but upsize.
And every month, come back, do the same thing. Right? Every year, you do the same thing. Every time you fire a quarter of your
People get mad
entire
because in
company,
this hypothetical, the baker becomes the
all
most
of the
popular of
employees
all time, and they still fire Teresa.
a quarter, you fire the bottom quarter.
No.
Every year.
Well, you should
You
get
hire new
mad
people,
at
fire
is
the
the
bottom
distribution
quarter. That
and
way
the
you filter
compensation
out
employees
the
get.
trash.
As
You
the
filter
company
out the
gets
inferior
big,
people, and you get
you have to get mad about that really early on.
get genius
Because otherwise, when the company's
in
rich,
your workforce.
they already paid all the
That's what you
salaries.
need. It's what you
Not
want.
because the money made a lot of money.
You want to
that the money goes into
go
some
up.
vault at the company.
You never want to
Guys,
slow down. You want to go
all the money
up
we've been making,
and
we've been
up
putting that
and
in the
up.
vault.
Infinite growth.
And now, when things go bad, we can distribute
Yeah,
that.
infinite
Fuck, you know
growth
what?
is real.
The money
but
goes. Like at
in
that
a
point,
vacuum, it's
the
real.
cash flow goes into the negatives to keep people
Right,
afloat.
there's a small bubble that is able to suck
Like,
up everything from
is this not
all
understandable?
around because it's superior, and it's about to and it can grow and grow and grow, infinite
How the
growth.
margin increase exponentially with
But
size?
you need to maintain the purity of the bubble. If the dirt
Okay.
gets in,
Companies don't have markets
it
like
pops.
that.
Right?
Amazon,
Any
so
little
it's
dirt
crazy.
speck pops the bubble. That's what you need to purify and filter out the dirt.
I don't
Filter
get
the
it.
trash out.
Continue
Man.
then, I
Get
guess,
them
I
out.
don't know.
And you need to be
Rovio made an
ruthless
app
with
named
it,
Angry
dude.
Birds, which, while
Okay.
clearly
I
being
don't
a
get it.
rip-off, was better in every way. It had cooler, cleaner animated graphics, and different stages, each with different levels. You got points for every enemy killed, and points for every bird you didn't use, giving players the chance to compete for high scores. Throw in 5 different birds with 5 different abilities, as well as a cool, catchy soundtrack, and it's easy to see that Angry Birds was better. They'd developed 51 games prior to Angry Birds, none of which saw even the smallest bit of success. Therefore, when Angry Birds took only 2 months to become the #1 paid app in 60 countries, they understandably took the chance to milk it. They'd make loads of different varieties like Angry Birds Seasons, Angry Birds Space, and Angry Birds Star Wars,
Classic.
helping it become the #1 paid app in Apple's App Store with 6 to 7 million paid downloads. By the end of Angry Birds' first year, they'd made $10 million US, but players still demanded more. We have so many fans who have asked for the plush toys, so these are going to be available in a couple of weeks. And we're really trying to build Angry Birds into this entertainment franchise.
I mean, as
it
they
took
should.
only 4 months before that announced 60,000 Angry Birds soft toys have been sold, as the game itself
Chad, they had one of the most marketable product. This is literally a marketability gold mine. It's simple, it's changeable without losing its nature. You could put that into 3D, you can do anything you want with this. Because it's simple and it's
itself became
recognizable.
the best-selling paid app
Yep.
of all time. Within Angry Birds itself,
Angry
they'd
Birds
implement
Kart was kinda
microtransactions
classic,
like
but
Mighty
also,
Eagle, which allowed players to pay to clear
so pay to
entire
win.
levels. With celebs like
But
Justin
there's just
Bieber even
no
advocating
way
for it,
you
Angry
win
Birds
without
made 100
paying.
million in 2011
There's a
and went
certain
from 28 employees in the
speed that you
beginning
just
of the
can't
year
get to,
to
man.
224 employees
It
by
was
the end
impossible.
of 2011. 5 months later, they set a new world record. First mobile
If growth means hiring, and that's okay, why does downsizing can't mean layoffs?
end of 2011. 5 months later, they set a new world record. First mobile game series to reach 1 billion downloads. They'd double their revenue again by the end of 2012, at which point they started to face a serious problem. The game was getting stale. They'd made multiple different Angry Birds versions, but hadn't changed the concept in over 3 years. As a result, in the following year, their profits more than halved, with Angry Birds falling to
Bad
59th in the App Store,
piggies.
forcing the franchise to try a new format. They'd release Angry Birds Go at the end of 2013, and while
fun.
this was somewhat of a Mario Kart ripoff, people absolutely
It was
loved it.
different.
So I mean, it's
for
fun.
Sure.
It is good fun. It looks good. It plays well.
Professional reviewers gave it 7.7, while people on Reddit called it their favorite Angry Birds game, and perfection at its
was
finest.
good.
Rovio therefore continued to experiment, releasing an RPG game named Angry Birds Epic, which again received incredible
was good
reviews,
as well.
reading, "The latest
Bad
Angry Birds
piggies.
title is a welcome addition to a
Bad
franchise."
What was it?
piggies.
Is it Plants
Bad
versus
piggies. Bad
Zombies,
piggies.
but edition Angry Birds, and it's just the birds against the pigs or whatever.
Which hasn't
Yeah,
seen
Bad
much
Piggies.
change
Bad Piggies is the
since
best
its
one.
inception back in 2009. Similarly, users
was
said
the
it
best
might be
one.
the best RPG title I've ever played.
And honestly, a pretty solid time. I think the approach they went with here really worked and paid off.
The only problem was, these games didn't sell merch like the original
Chat, look how marketable
Yeah.
that is.
Slingshot format.
It's just-
Therefore, merchandise sales plummeted,
For
while
merch, you
total
wanna have
2014 revenue dropped,
recognizable
and profits fell
characters like
73.
But you know,
No, chat, guys, that's their
Freddy,
problem.
Bonnie,
They failed to market
Chica,
the brand
Foxy.
in the game.
And that's
So a
kind
lot
of
games
the
do that.
it, right?
Chat, a lot
Everything
of
else
games
doesn't
do
sell,
that.
those sell.
Sometimes
Yeah.
the people
Same
play
with
a
the
certain
birds.
character and never know
You got the
anything
red
about the
bird,
character. The character doesn't
blue
pop
bird,
into their head
yellow
when they're playing
bird,
it. Chat, what?
bomb,
This and that
egg,
Overwatch did
and
so
they sell.
flawlessly, you didn't even
Right,
see
because
it happening
you
in front of
remember the bird.
Bro, the characters gave you everything that you wanted about the. You were learning about them just by playing. You didn't even know you were learning about them.
Yep.
And you wanted more about them. All that. It's why people loved Overwatch adult content. I'm not gonna say I consume any of that. I'm not part of that. I didn't make any of it. But I'm saying
slingshot
it's why it did
formats.
that.
Therefore, merchandise sales plummeted, while total 2014 revenue dropped, and profits fell 73% to 10 million euros. As a result, media outlets reported, Rovio lays off 110 people as Angry Birds hype fades, representing 14% of the company's workforce. They try to fix their decline with yet another experiment,
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
Angry Birds
This was
Pop,
dog shit.
which was pretty unsuccessful. In a Reddit thread asking
I mean,
out of
it
all
was-
the Angry Birds
it wasn't
games,
terrible, it
which
was
one
just a
do you think is
generic-
the worst, Pop was mentioned many times over.
Yeah, just a
Therefore, they'd go
generic
back to
shit piece of
basics and put out Angry Birds 2, the official sequel, although
every-
many called it a downgrade
half
of
of
the
the mobile games
original.
at this
The
point
sequel was filled
were
to the brim with
Candy Crush
microtransactions,
rip-off.
clearly annoying the fan base who
Shoot the
wrote,
Thing
"This is a
rip-off," or
very
something.
greedy game that keeps sucking money out of you. If you play well, the game becomes harder and harder until it's impossible,
Where's
and then
Bad
you
Piggies?
either have
Yeah.
to replay."
Chad, this guy was
Is he ever going to talk about Bad
20
Piggies?
minutes in Clash of Clans. This bitch ass, he's not built. He's not built like your average Clash of Clans Chad.
Each level 10
Clash of
times
Clans-
or buy gems. The game is just trying to throw you off balance
can't even play the
and
game
get under
without
your
paying
skin
for it.
so that you pay more. The official
make
IGN
you-
review
it's
said
make
the
you
game
wait for a
took
fucking month
significant steps
to get your
backward
clan-
for the
to
massively
get your
popular
fucking clan
series.
house.
Angry Birds 2 is missing key parts of what made previous games so universally compelling to gamers both hardcore and casual, young and old.
Clan
Still,
Castle.
due to its intense monetization, Angry Birds 2 became their highest earning game. Surprisingly, however, that very same year, that announced losses of almost 15 million and would fire a further
That is fucking insane. Operating losses of 50 mil, brother.
same year that announced losses of almost 15 million and would fire a further third of their workforce, this time being over 200 people. This seemed to imply
One
that
little
Angry
spin
Birds
line.
was dead until they'd make an unexpected comeback.
Biggie.
Turns out they'd spent the previous 3 years privately developing the Angry Birds movie.
The
At a
Bad-
cost of
what about Bad
73
Piggies?
million, they'd made a risky bet, but with a star-studded
It's the best game.
cast
How is
and
he
a
not
fun
gonna
little
mention
story,
Bad
the
Piggies?
Angry Birds movie did surprisingly well. It made over
was
350
fun.
million from its 70 million budget
Wasn't great,
and
but
put
it was
Angry
fun.
Birds back into the public spotlight. People began replaying their previously released games, while Angry Birds theme parks popped up in different countries. Media outlets reported Rovio Games had its best year ever in 2016. However, the gaming releases that Angry Birds was known for was still declining.
I get it. That makes sense then. Then whenever they got all the money all the way from the hype, they went for like,
Angry
the
Birds
end
2 was
game,
shit,
hoping
though.
that what made
Angry
them go
Birds
to the
2
end game kind of stays alive and keeps doing
was
good. And the early
shit.
game stuff ended up not doing as good, like their
The-
games or whatever.
the way the
but they
missions
still
work
were
was
in-
too complicated.
had funded
It's
the
one
end
of the games
game
you
stuff,
just
so
wanna
it's kind of cool.
hope in your level.
But it
In his
doesn't mean every
video,
game
I
they're gonna be
played
playing though.
progress.
every Angry Birds
and
game,
just
so you
finish
don't
the
have
fucking
to.
game.
Jake Miller talks about Angry Birds action,
What is this?
Angry Birds
You know what I
Action
just
was the
said?
start of using the new anthropomorphic designs from the movies in their games, which I think most fans agree was the real beginning of the end for the series.
which happened to be the first game after the movie. Similarly, in the Reddit thread asking about the worst Angry Birds game, one user implied it was most of them after the movie's release. Said games included Angry Birds Fights,
that a slaughter?
aka a Candy Crush ripoff, as well as Angry Birds Match, which was described as extremely bland.
Yeah, that's
However,
just true.
thankfully
The game
for
just
Rovio,
fucking,
their older titles were still extremely
what's it
popular,
called?
with Angry Birds
Sugar
2's
Rush.
revenue growing
What the fuck's the
47% in
game called? Candy
2018, despite it being over
Candy
3
Crush.
years old. This gave them the budget to make a second movie.
Chat.
However, their
Chat, people, guys, mobile games market moved from games that are just fun to play to fucking dog shit ass hat.
You are wrong,
And they
Steve.
controlled the meta with the
Yeah.
dog shit. I go around, I don't see people on their phones playing fun, just fun games anymore. They're all playing some overly involved, pay to win, fucking super crazy in-depth dog shit that they jump into because their mind is like looped into it, but they don't really like playing those games.
$65 million
Last word.
bet
They
didn't pay
brain
off
rotted
so
us,
well
Chad.
this time.
fucking
Forbes wrote Angry
But
Birds
nowadays
2
what I do
is worse than the original in
is
nearly
I've a
every
collection
way,
of
whilst
puzzle
Rotten
games that I
Tomatoes
can just
critics
play.
added, a distressingly
Or stimulate the
ineffective
brain, not too
sequel
hard,
that
not
grows
too easy.
less and less interesting and more tiresome as it unfolds. Still, the
Slay the
movie
Spire.
made a profit of 82
Slay the Spire.
million, right as the
Slay
company
the
was
Spire
making
on
some
mobile
weird changes.
is
Despite their
fun,
older games
not
being low
Genshin
maintenance,
Impact. That
Rovio
shit's gonna
decided
fry
to
your
completely
phone.
stop updating them.
The-
Then, without
a game released
explanation,
like
some of the
6
older
years ago,
beloved titles, including the
it's gonna
original
fry
Angry
your
Birds,
newest
were
iPhone
deleted
is gonna
from the
fry
App
that
Store.
shit.
When people
It's not
began
a
to
fucking
talk
mobile
about
game.
what they'd done, people made compilations stating Angry Birds was dead. There were comments
sure,
like,
it
remember
can
when
run
Rovio
it.
actually cared, whilst
There's some,
hashtag bring back
a lot of these mobile
2012
games
Oh,
can
they're
use
gonna try to,
it can
things
run it
got
and
so
it can run
bad
it
that
at
Rovio
120 FPS.
apologized,
Yes,
stating
it
they
can
only
run it
did it as
if you want to
maintaining the
melt
highest
a
quality of
hole in your
updates and
hand
live
and
operations
your
isn't
phone.
possible with our older
It's
games.
not good, man.
In response to
Just
the
play the simple games,
backlash
keep it
that
simple,
announced they
man.
plan on
The touchscreen
redeveloping
is
Angry
shit
Birds
for every
Classic, which
action
was
game out
re-released
there.
on the App Store in
keep it
2022,
simple, man.
but at a price of $1.99 with no in-game purchases. They'd changed Classic's name to Red's First Flight, making it harder to find in the App Store, thus prompting players to buy the newer, more profitable games. This successfully fooled some people.
Chat. I was gonna have an idea, but
Reds
I think it's probably already what they have. Chat, what if the levels, okay, like it's like Cut the Rope, the game, where like you need to have 3 stars in all of them to go to, and at one way they, oh, you need 100 stars to get here, but you can get it if you just buy into, like, oh, I'm missing like a 50 star, I'm not gonna go back and do all that, whatever. Fuck, I'm not just gonna buy it. I feel people would buy that, no?
Games. This successfully fooled some people who struggled to
But how
find it
do
on
you
the
know-
App Store. However,
How
others
do
knew
you
exactly what Angry
the
Birds was
3-star
doing.
in
They
like
got
that?
rid of the
They're
old
broken.
ones so that you would have
It's
no
a
other
public game
choice
for
than to
kids,
play the
dude.
modern Candy Crush-esque games. They despised the games that made the company and so lost its spirit. Rovio basically
They should have made it balloons, but it's birds. Birds defense. Angry defense balloons. Angry balloons. Angry birds. Okay, oh my fucking
confirmed
god.
this, openly stating they changed the name due to the game's impact on our wider games portfolio. They further requested that fans continue to bring that passion to our live Angry Birds slingshot games, such as Angry Birds 2. However, players weren't too happy. We hope those fans can continue to bring that passion to our other games which have been designed to be more psychologically manipulative and stuffed with more microtransactions. Fixed it for you.
Well, I'm gonna be devil's advocate here, chat. Guys, people stopped playing games that are just fun, that didn't have micro. You guys, that's the way it is. How many games do people play that are good that don't have that built in? Bro, the market actually took over so much that every game was like this, and games were left behind.
It's
I
just
don't know
people
what to tell you,
started
guys. It is what
The
it is.
drama
expecting
was
these
so
games to be free
severe,
on your
it seemingly
phone.
halted any future
kids.
games, as Angry Birds
kids
Classic is
didn't
still
want
the
to
most recent
buy
title,
good games.
released way back in
The
2022.
good games that were always
in
paid
2023,
didn't do well.
Rovio was sold to Sega,
So,
although this has done
it was
little to
flooded
fix their
with a bunch of
reputation.
freemium
One recent
games.
tweet
Hold on, I will
expressed,
replay that.
I very much still love
Where there's
Angry
a
Birds.
hidden gem
That
that's
said,
free
the
and
current
good,
state of
and
it
there's
is
a bunch
dog
of
shit.
trash
I
that's
hope for the franchise is
totally
at an all-time
shit,
low right
sometimes
now.
good,
I'll just
and has a
continue to
bunch of
enjoy what I love
gamba
about
in
it,
it.
but it's sad to see
For
what it's
kids.
become. Despite
and
everything, Angry
that's
Birds
what you
isn't
get.
finished,
How
as they
you get.
just
How did they sell for that much though? I guess they probably thought they could do that with the franchise to
announced
make
they're
all that money
making
back.
a third movie. Although
Oh,
with the
okay,
rest
well.
of the franchise in decline, its performance might be interesting.
Yeah, how is he gonna talk about the
Interesting.
Angry Birds franchise and how it's shit, and then never mention
what
fucking
does he say?
bad
I
I don't
piggies,
think
dude?
anyone complains when a company
It's the
is
best
losing
game of the
money and then
franchise, and it wasn't.
downsize
It's not even
afterwards.
close. man.
What usually happens is
are
companies
you not
mention
gonna
they make
mention bad
record
piggies?
sales and growth for the year but still
was
decide
so
to lay off
good.
fee when they could try to repurpose
It
them.
was so good.
Even though I agree with you, okay, it's kind of the way that I see it. It's kind of like that, as in like if your company is kind of slow growth, like normal growth, whatever, right? If this is like your income, right? It's kind of easy to like hire and fire people kind of close to that curve, right? Without much correction to be done. But the main problem is that when your company is kind of going like this, it's kind of going like this, right? When you're when you're correcting, right? Oh no, we wouldn't have enough, and it goes, oh no, we don't have enough again, and then now, okay, fuck it. When it's super hype, I mean, brother, they have record sales. I mean, they're jumping, and there's gonna be a difference between the amount of people that they're hiring and their actual because, and that causes overcompensation. So when things eventually go down, and they still have this many employees, you're gonna have layoffs, brother, because it's hard to predict and go with the market when you don't even know how good it could be. They overcompensate. So then you're gonna have layoffs, sometimes that are even still above their income, whatever, which is good. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. Like, I don't know.
I have the
like,
solution.
What do you
Every
expect them to
month, you go in, check the employees that
do? So
you have,
when the record
and
sales are
fire
announced, by the way,
the bottom
record sales, they announce record sales
quarter.
like over here,
Right.
at the end of the fucking year,
And it-
right?
Little bro, I found in a
You
random
read
It
the
doesn't
laws,
mean
right?
that 2 quarters were in the
About
red.
protecting the safety of
yes,
the
there's
employees,
still
and you can't
layoffs,
fire them
right?
for whatever fucking
When they
reason,
report
even
the
if
fucking
they're not
record
doing their
sales,
job
but they're not
properly.
having those record sales by now, though.
And you say, fuck that, you're not coming into the thing,
Like-
and I'm not fucking paying you.
It is what it
Even
is.
if it's
no?
legal, alright, sue me. Sue me. I'm just gonna hire a better lawyer because you're fucking broke, because you don't have a job and I'm not paying you. Alright, sue me. I don't fucking care. Right? You're a drop in the bucket, a fart in the wind. That's what you are. Right? Bottom of the barrel, bottom quarter, fucking Normandy, inferior bitch ass. You get fired. You get fired. I mean, you deserve it because you don't do your job. What the Look. Right? You get my middle finger in HD, bitch. It's 2005. HD, dude. Flat screen. HD. Fuck you. Fucking cunt.